Coronavirus surge. What doctors say is causing concerns as the U.S. passes another grim milestone.
Weekend warm-up, how warm it will get and how long it will stick around.
Paying bills, getting health coverage, fighting for racial justice. I'm Tisia in Washington with the top issues on the minds of voters.
Teaming up to protect the community, the new partnership between Marshalltown Police and social workers.
KCCI 8 News This Morning starts right now.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on KCCI 8 News This Morning Weekends. I'm Tisia. Happy Halloween. Matika could have sworn last weekend we were talking about snow and winter.
Right. That was the trick. This is the real treat. Today is going to be a wonderful day out there, and we're already starting out above freezing. 38 now in Des Moines, 39 in Fort Dodge, and 40 degrees in Lamoni. This afternoon, you're going to want to make plans to get outside and enjoy it. Maybe go back to the pumpkin patch, enjoy a little bit more fun out there. It's going to be warmer than it was yesterday. Mid-morning readings in the mid-40s, low 50s by 11 a.m. And this afternoon, we're going to top out in the mid-60s. And look how mild it stays throughout the evening, still in the 50s by 7 o'clock. Now, we do have a little cool down in the 8-day, but for the most part, this is looking like a much warmer week than last week.
Well, this morning in Iowa, 630 people are in hospitals across the state receiving treatment for COVID-19. That's a new record. On Thursday, there were 606 patients reported. And since the pandemic began, more than 126,000 Iowans have tested positive for the coronavirus. The statewide positivity rate is now at 13%. Now, the country has passed another grim milestone during the pandemic. More than 9 million people have tested positive for coronavirus. States are breaking daily case count records, and 9 of them are reporting their highest numbers ever. 1/3 of the country is now considered a coronavirus hotspot by the White House Coronavirus Task Force. And Dr. Anthony Fauci says the cold weather will make things worse. Now, back here in Iowa, Marshalltown schools have seen more than a dozen new coronavirus cases in just the last week. The district spokesman says 8 of them are students, 5 are among staff. And right now, preschool through 6th grade students are learning fully in person with the option to go all online. Grades 7 through 12 have been in a hybrid learning model for the first 9 weeks of the school year. In Commitment 2020 News, there are now 3 days until Election Day, and the Iowa Secretary of State's office says more than 885,000 Iowans have already voted. But if you are going to vote in person on Tuesday, Iowa Secretary of State Paul Pate says every voter will have a polling site on Election Day. And Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden was in Des Moines Friday to encourage Iowans to vote. A drive-in campaign event was held at the Iowa State Fairgrounds. 200 vehicles got in and another 150 were just outside the venue. Biden stressed the need to vote and said it will change the course of the country. He pointed out some of the controversial claims President Trump has made.
Donald Trump, when you say climate change, he thinks hoax. And that stable genius, as he calls himself, continues to say wind power causes cancer.
Biden also attacked the president on his handling of the pandemic. And after his Iowa visit, Biden campaigned in Minnesota and Wisconsin. Now, President Trump is back in Iowa this weekend. He has a stop planned for tomorrow in Dubuque. And it comes just a few days after Vice President Mike Pence's trip to the state. Then on Monday, presidential advisor Ivanka Trump is expected to campaign for her father in Des Moines. The details of her visit has not been released yet. Now, the stakes this election couldn't be higher as Americans grapple with a stalled economy in the midst of a global pandemic. Alexa Diaz is in Washington with other issues top of mind.
Tisia, not only are voters worried about kitchen table issues, they're also casting their ballots with racial injustice and the Supreme Court in mind.
The 2020 election, unlike any other, playing out amid a pandemic that has killed more than 200,000 people in the U.S. COVID-19, a virus unknown just 1 year ago, now a major issue for voters.
Americans are very concerned about the government's response to it.
Analysts say this election will be a referendum on the Trump administration's handling of the pandemic and the action it has and has not taken to help Americans.
We're not just dealing with a question of, are you going to get sick, but how are you able to pay your bills?
The economy taking a huge hit, small businesses closed, industries struggling to survive, and millions of Americans out of work.
There are indications that the economy is perhaps the most important issue that people are going to be voting on in 2020.
Another major issue, health care. For many people, losing their jobs has meant losing their health insurance.
One of the things that voters are thinking about is the Supreme Court and how there is a case in November about the Affordable Care Act.
Analysts say the future of the Supreme Court could galvanize more Democrats than Republicans this election.
Conservatives will feel satisfied that they have the court. Democrats will not.
And the nationwide movement demanding racial justice and equality, a motivating factor for many voters.
The issue of racial justice in America has really pushed young voters to consider which party is there for them and if they see themselves being part of the electoral systems.
According to the Pew Research Center, the top two issues for voters last election, the economy and terrorism. In Washington, Aixa Diaz, KCCI 8 News.
And the Pew Research Center also says President Trump supporters care most about the economy and crime, while Joe Biden supporters prioritize health care and the coronavirus pandemic. And some metro cities asked families to keep the coronavirus in mind when out trick-or-treating for Beggars Night, which wasn't a problem for many. KCCI's Kayla James shows us what families did to stay safe.
What do you get when you add a skeleton graveyard with the twist? A grim reaper waiting in the shadows. And kids with candy-filled buckets dressed in costumes.
I'm an angel. Minecraft skeleton.
The answer, Beggars Night at the Gam household.
I usually call it Haunt on Hall.
Bridget Gam and her husband Mike have decked out their yard for years.
Hey, did you turn all the outlets on?
So when the sun sets in this east side Des Moines neighborhood and the moon comes out, there are the frightened and the fearless.
Oh no, that looked like a cute little puppy.
Coming to the Gam house is a tradition for many families, one that Bridget and Mike Gam are happy to continue this year.
It's been such a stressful year for everybody. I figure this night of every night, it should be one of the kids' favorite holidays.
Part of the Iowa Department of Public Health's Halloween COVID-19 guidance includes giving out goodie bags of candy, a practice Bridget Gam has done before.
This is our second year doing gift bags because it just seemed easier in the beginning.
And the Gams weren't alone in giving out individual treats this year.
Do you want a cookie?
The Highland Bakery team in the Highland Park neighborhood did the same.
We've all talked amongst ourselves, and we are 100% focused and dedicated on keeping everybody safe.
Which for the Highland Park Oak Park Neighborhood Association entails group social distancing.
Just wearing those masks, not crowding anybody in line, taking turns.
And of course, getting out and having fun with those who matter most.
I love walking with my family.
And of course, trick-or-treating isn't over yet. There are some communities like Ames and Grimes that are celebrating tonight, and we have a list of cities with dates and times on our website. Your time now is 5:07, and Batinka, it's going to be a nice day to get outside today.
It's going to be gorgeous. Yeah, last evening was a little bit cool for the trick-or-treaters, but today is going to be picture perfect out there. This morning we're waking up a little bit cool. We've got some breezes out there and some fairly mild conditions. We're starting out in the upper 30s early today, so that's better than we've been the past several mornings, but that wind is going to be gusty by 8 a.m. near 40 degrees. Plenty of sunshine though. Right now in Des Moines, we're waking up to clear skies, no fog out there. 38 here in Des Moines, southeast wind now at 13. And it does make it feel a little bit chillier. We've got a feels like temp in Des Moines at 30 degrees. So here is your weekend planner. Today is going to be on the warm side out there. A gorgeous looking Halloween with readings topping out in the mid 60s today. Remember to fall back to standard time so we get an extra hour of sleep tonight. And tomorrow it's going to be windy and briefly colder. Much of the 8-day is looking a lot warmer than last week. Highs could be even close to 70 degrees.
Pairing up, the new program allowing Marshalltown police and social workers to respond to calls together. Help wanted. While the Norwalk Santa is asking Central Iowans to step up this holiday season.
It's coming up on 5:12 on your Saturday morning, and it's shaping up to be a gorgeous day out there. This morning, we're waking up above freezing, so that's a good start. It's 42 right now in Grinnell, 38 in Ottumwa, and 36 starting out in Ames. A little bit breezy out there right now, but it's that south wind that will warm us up today. Check out these highs. It is looking like above average today, mid-60s, a little bit breezy out there. That's okay. Then we're going to have a cold front come through overnight tonight, so that will make for a chilly day on Sunday. Tomorrow's highs only in the 40s, a little blustery out there, but at least we'll have more sunshine. Look what happens as we head toward Monday. It warms right back up again. 60s are on tap to start the week, and it looks even warmer than that in your 8-day forecast. Those details are straight ahead.
Well, starting in January, social workers will partner with Marshalltown police officers when responding to social services or crisis calls. It's part of a program called Marshalltown Partnership Action Community Team. There will be 2 full-time social workers connected to the department, and those workers will help in response to calls involving parent and child discord or someone with a mental health issue. Marshalltown Police Chief Tupper says his department's top priority is safety.
Let's bring in the social service workers to help with those crisis services that really don't have a law enforcement nexus.
Number one, we want to reduce arrests. And number two, providing really just hope and opportunity for families that maybe this program will save some lives.
The $150,000 program was recently approved by the Marshalltown City Council, and for now, the program is set to run for a year. Well, Christmas is just right around the corner, but for one Norwalk man, the season of giving is all year long. KCCI's Bo Bowman introduces us to one Santa Claus who needs your help this year.
These are all donations.
Welcome to Santa's Workshop.
And it's just part of it.
Turns out the North Pole of Iowa is in Norwalk at the Greg Young Chevrolet dealership, where it's Christmas year-round for Thomas Guthrie, better known as Norwalk Santa.
Basically what I do is just kind of connect the dots between people who need help here in town and the people who are able to help.
But year-round, Guthrie and the staff at Greg Young use his massive Facebook following to find household items for those in need, like this woman who needs a bed frame, or this family with 4 children in need of winter clothes.
Anytime we get stuff, we make sure it gets into Santa's hands, because that's the right man for the job, of course.
Guthrie dresses as Santa at Christmas to hear all the wishes from Norwalk boys and girls. But this Christmas, he's the one asking for help. Each year, Guthrie runs a program that puts gifts under the trees for children of the less fortunate. Last year, he found sponsors for 80 children. But with the pandemic, that's been scaled down a bit, and he's still looking for more sponsors.
It's changed a lot of things in our lives right now, and people aren't able to help as much as they used to be able to.
Guthrie is asking for anything. No gift is too small.
It warms my heart seeing all these people helping everybody else and people wanting to step forward. I get people ahead of time. It's like, I want to help this year. I've seen the little smiles on the big faces, and it touches you.
And for this Santa, Norwalk Santa, the smiles are what it's all about.
There's a thing about Norwalk nice, and it's real.
In Norwalk, Bo Bowman, KCCI 8 News, Iowa's news leader.
And to donate to Norwalk Santa, you can visit his website at norwalksanta.com or friend him on Facebook. And your time now is 5:15, but Tika, we're waking up above freezing, which is good news, and 60s today?
Yeah, it is going to be really mild out there, a lot warmer than it was yesterday. We're waking up in the upper 30s right now, mid-40s by 9 a.m., so a good steady warm-up. Low to mid-50s by 11 a.m. and mid-60s this afternoon, staying pretty mild through 7 o'clock, still holding there in the 50s. A lot of sunshine today and a pretty gusty wind coming in from the south starting out and then switching back over to the west as we head toward the evening. Right now, that south wind is coming in about 10 to 20 miles per hour with a few higher gusts here and there, and it will be pretty gusty all weekend long. Starting out now in Fort Dodge at 39. It's 42 already in Grinnell, 40 degrees in Lamoni, and this is pretty close to where some of us had highs on your Friday. But we are waking up to clear conditions out there. No fog being reported. That's some great news out there as well. Up to the northwest, this is where they have wind advisories across the Dakotas, and you can already see the cloudiness. That is along a cold front that is going to be moving through the state as we head toward the overnight. So let's take you hour by hour. By 3 o'clock today, we'll be topping out in the mid-60s. Already, though, the wind shifting across the northwestern counties. Here comes that little thin band of clouds, which is the cold front, moving through central Iowa by 7 o'clock. So we're going to lose about 10 degrees in just a couple hours' time. You'll notice the difference out there. Tomorrow morning, chillier than this one, 20s and low 30s out there, a little frosty, and high high temperatures tomorrow will only be in the 40s, but it doesn't last long at all. The wind already shifts back from the south on your Monday and warms us right back up. Right now, we're checking out the downtown Skycam. It is quiet out there early this morning, 38 degrees with clear skies, southeast wind at 13. It does feel a little bit cooler though with that breeze. Feels like 30 degrees. Here's your 8-day forecast. A really good looking Halloween, a huge improvement over last year's. Highs well above average today, a little bit breezy. Remember to fall back to standard time tonight. Enjoy that extra hour of sleep. Tomorrow highs only in the 40s, but look at the rest of the 8-day forecast. This is a week you don't want to miss. Everybody will be voting yes for sunshine and nearly 70 degrees on Tuesday, and highs stay close to 70 right into next weekend.
Football Friday night, the state quarterfinals are set. We've got all the action coming up next.